The morning fog rolls off San Francisco Bay as I walk through the glass doors of Medicore Industries for what I don't yet know will be one of my last times. 23 years I've been walking these halls, and the security guard still nods the same way, half awake, half grateful someone else is here this early. I'd love to know which corner of the globe you're watching from. And if this story speaks to you, make sure to subscribe. Tomorrow's video is one you absolutely can't miss. I'm Leah Morgan, and I invented the thing that keeps this place running. Most people don't know that. Hell, most people here don't even know what I do. They see me in my faded lab coat, gray hair pulled back in the same ponytail I've worn since the Clinton administration, and they assume I'm just another relic from the old days. The woman who still uses paper notebooks and refuses to upgrade her ancient desktop computer. They're not wrong about the relic part. But they're dead wrong about what that means. The elevator takes me to the third floor, R&D. The same fluorescent lights humming overhead. The same coffee-stained carpet. The same photo of our breakthrough medical device on the wall. The Medicore cardiac monitoring system, they call it now. Sleek marketing name for something I built in this very lab back in 2001. I swipe my badge and settle into my workstation. The familiar weight of my leather notebook, the one with 23 years of handwritten equations, formulas, and breakthrough moments. While everyone else types frantically on laptops, I still think better with pen and paper. Old school? Sure. Effective? The $12 million in annual revenue from my cardiac monitoring algorithm would suggest quietest. Computer finally wheezes to life, a desktop tower that sounds like a small aircraft taking off. I don't need the latest tech. The signal processing work I do runs on mathematics, not marketing budgets. The algorithms that detect irregular heartbeats, predict cardiac events, and save lives daily across 47 countries were written on this exact machine. But as I open my morning emails, something feels different in the air. There's an energy. In the office, whispered conversations that stop when I walk by. Change is coming. I can feel it like the shift in barometric pressure before a storm. At 9:30 a.m., the announcement email arrives. Please join us in welcoming Jessica Chen, our new Director of Innovation and Modernization. The subject line alone makes my stomach tighten. In my experience, modernization is corporate speak for get rid of anything that looks old, regardless of whether it works. The all-hands meeting is scheduled for 10 a.m. I save my work, close the leather notebook, and make my way to conference room A, the big one with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the bay. Jessica Chen commands attention the moment she walks in. Mid-30s, sharp-angled bob, wearing a tailored black suit that probably costs more than my monthly salary. She carries herself like someone who's used to being the smartest person in the room and isn't shy about letting everyone know it. Thank you all for being here, she begins, her voice crisp and confident. I'm excited to share my vision for Medicore's future. We're entering an age where innovation happens at the speed of thought, where artificial intelligence and cloud computing are revolutionizing healthcare technology. The presentation begins. Slides filled with buzzwords: machine learning integration, IoT connectivity, blockchain-enabled health records. Each slide is more colorful and more removed from actual medicine than the last. Then comes the slide that makes my blood run cold: legacy system audit. Jessica clicks to the next slide, and there's my life's work, reduced to bullet points under the heading outdated dependencies. Cardiac monitoring core, written in obsolete programming language. Hardware requirements, incompatible with modern infrastructure. Documentation, paper-based, non-digitals. Maintenance, single point of failure, one employee dependency. Our cardiac monitoring system, Jessica continues, while functional, represents everything we need to move away from. It's built on outdated technology by outdated methods. We need systems that scale, that integrate, that speak the language of modern healthcare. She doesn't say my name, but every person in that room knows she's talking about me. I feel 47 pairs of eyes trying not to look in my direction. I'll be conducting individual assessments over the next few weeks, Jessica announces. We need to identify which team members are ready to embrace the future and which ones might be more comfortable elsewhere. The meeting ends with polite applause. As people file out, I catch fragments of whispered conversations. About time someone addressed the Leah situation. She's been here forever, but Jessica's right, that stuff is ancient. I heard the whole cardiac system runs on code from the early 2000s. I pack up slowly, letting the room empty before I stand. Jessica is still at the front, organizing her materials. Our eyes meet for the first time. Leah, isn't it, she says, though I'm certain she already knows exactly who I am. I'd love to schedule some time to discuss your contributions to the cardiac monitoring project. The pause before contributions lands like a small slap. Of course, I reply evenly. Though you should know, it's not just contributions. I designed the entire algorithm from scratch. Been maintaining and improving it for over 2 decades. Jessica's smile doesn't reach her eyes. That's exactly what I'd like to discuss. I think there are opportunities for you to transition into a mentorship role while we modernize the core systems. Mentorship role. Corporate speak for teach someone else to do your job while we figure out how to replace you. I'll have my assistant reach out to schedule something, she continues, already looking past me toward the door. I walk back to my desk in silence. The same hallway, the same fluorescent lights, but everything feels different now. I sit down, open my leather notebook, and flip to a page I haven't looked at in years. There, in my own handwriting from 2001, are the patent filing notes. Patent US 6.847.392, Method and System for Predictive Cardiac Event Detection Using Multivariable Signal Analysis. Filed October 15, 2001. Granted March 8, 2004. Holder, Leah Morgan. I close the notebook and lean back in my chair. Jessica Chen thinks she's dealing with outdated technology and an outdated employee. She's half right. The technology is from 2001. But what she doesn't realize is that I didn't just write the code for Medicore's cardiac monitoring system. I own it. The individual assessment meeting is scheduled for Thursday at 2 p.m. Jessica's assistant sends a calendar invite with an agenda that makes my stomach churn: role evolution discussion, skills gap analysis, transition planning. I spend the days leading up to it doing something I haven't done in years, researching my own patent. Not the technical specifications, I know those by heart. But the legal framework, the licensing terms, the renewal dates. What I find makes me understand just how little Jessica Chen knows about the foundation she's planning to tear down. A lot of love and effort went into bringing this story to life. If you're enjoying it, we'd be so grateful if you'd subscribe to our channel. Now, back to where we left off. Thursday arrives gray and drizzly. I dress carefully, not my usual faded lab coat, but the navy blazer I keep in my office closet for occasions that require looking professional. If this is going to be a performance, I might as well dress for it. Jessica's office is on the 5th floor, in what used to be executive conference space before they renovated it into individual power suites. Floor-to-ceiling windows, minimalist furniture, and a desk that looks like it's never seen actual work. Everything white and chrome and sharp angles. Leah, please, have a seat. Jessica gestures to a chair positioned slightly lower than her own, a subtle power play that would be comical if it weren't so transparent. She opens a tablet and swipes through screens with practiced efficiency. I've been reviewing your employment history, your performance metrics, your contributions to various projects. Very impressive longevity. Longevity. Like I'm a piece of furniture that's managed not to break. 23 years, I reply. Built the cardiac monitoring system from the ground up. It's detected over 2.3 million cardiac anomalies worldwide, prevented an estimated 400,000 heart attacks, and generated $187 million in cumulative revenue for Medicore. Jessica nods, making notes on her tablet. Absolutely. Your historical contributions are undeniable. But I want to talk about the future. The system you built, while groundbreaking for its time, is becoming a limiting factor in our growth strategy. She swipes to what looks like an architectural diagram, my cardiac monitoring system rendered in corporate presentation style, all clean lines and sanitized boxes. We've identified 3 critical limitations, she continues. First, the code base is written in languages our current development team doesn't know. Second, it requires dedicated hardware that's increasingly expensive to maintain. Third, and most importantly, it doesn't integrate with modern AI frameworks or cloud-based analytics platforms. I listen without interrupting. She's not wrong about the technical specifics. My system was built in 2001 using the best tools available then. But she's missing the crucial point: it works. It saves lives. And replacing it isn't as simple as writing new code. So here's what I'm proposing, Jessica says, leaning forward with the practiced enthusiasm of someone delivering what they think is good news. We transition you into a senior advisor role. You'd work with our new development team to document the existing system logic, help them understand the core algorithms, and mentor them through the rebuilding process. Then, once the new system is online and stable, you'd be eligible for early retirement with a full benefits package. The words hang in the air between us. Senior advisor. Documentation. Mentoring. Early retirement. Each phrase is a euphemism. For the same thing: we want your knowledge, then we want you gone. And the timeline for this transition? I ask. 6 months for the knowledge transfer phase, then another 6 months for the new system development and testing. So you'd be looking at retirement by next spring. Very generous timeline, considering the urgency of the modernization initiative. I nod thoughtfully, as if I'm actually considering this offer. And the new system, Who's leading that development? Jessica's eyes light up. This is clearly her favorite part. We've contracted with Synaptic Dynamics, one of the premier AI-driven healthcare solution providers. They specialize in taking legacy medical systems and rebuilding them with machine learning capabilities, cloud scalability, and real-time analytics integration. Synaptic Dynamics. I recognize the name. They've been making waves in the industry, promising to revolutionize cardiac care with artificial intelligence. What Jessica doesn't know is that I've seen their work. I've reviewed their published algorithms. They're impressive in the way that looks good in PowerPoint presentations and falls apart when actual lives depend on the results. Their preliminary analysis suggests they can improve detection accuracy by 23% while reducing false positives by 31%, Jessica continues, reading from her tablet. Plus, the new system will integrate seamlessly with electronic health records, provide real-time patient monitoring dashboards, and support predictive analytics for population health management. I almost laugh. Almost. Those numbers, 23% accuracy improvement, 31% reduction in false positives, those aren't projections. They're comparisons to the baseline performance of existing cardiac monitoring systems. Systems that my algorithm outperforms. By margins they clearly haven't bothered to measure. It sounds like a comprehensive plan, I say carefully. When do you need my answer? Well, the Synaptic Dynamics team is flying on Monday to begin their assessment. It would be ideal if you could brief them on the current system architecture before they start their analysis. So, by Friday? 2 days. She's giving me 2 days to agree to document my life's work so someone else can claim credit for rebuilding it. I'll need to review the offer details, speak with my financial advisor about the retirement package timeline. Can I have until Monday morning? Jessica's smile falters slightly. She was clearly expecting immediate gratitude for her generous offer. Of course. But Leah, I want to be clear about something. This modernization initiative is happening regardless. The question is whether you want to be part of the solution or, well, whether you'd prefer to let the transition happen without your input. The threat is delivered with perfect corporate politeness, but it's unmistakably a threat. Cooperate or be pushed aside. I stand, smooth down my blazer, and extend my hand for a professional handshake. I understand completely, Jessica. You'll have my answer Monday morning. Walking back to my desk, I feel strangely calm. The kind of calm that comes when a complex problem suddenly becomes very, very simple. I sit down, open my leather notebook, and flip to the patent documentation page, Patent US. 6,847,392, filed October 15, 2001. Granted March 8, 2004. Valid for 20 years from filing date, with option for extension. I do the math in my head. Original expiration, October 15, 2021. But I filed for extension in 2020, adding 5 additional years. Current expiration, October 15, 2026. Current date, March 12, 2024.2.5 years of patent protection remaining. And Jessica Chen, in all her due diligence and modernization planning, has missed the most important detail of all. Medicore doesn't own the cardiac monitoring algorithm that generates $12 million in annual revenue. I open my desk drawer and pull out a file folder I haven't touched in years. Inside are copies of all the original patent filings, the licensing agreement I signed with Medicore in 2004, and the renewal documentation from 2020. I spread the papers across my desk and read through the licensing terms one more time. Just to be absolutely certain, the agreement is clear. Medicore has exclusive licensing rights to use patent US 6,847,392 for cardiac monitoring applications, in perpetuity, with annual licensing fees paid directly to the patent holder. Those fees stopped appearing in my bank account in 2018, when accounting moved the payments into some kind of automated system I never bothered to track down, but the patent ownership never transferred. It's still mine. I pick up my phone and dial a number I haven't called in 6 years. David Kim, the intellectual property attorney who helped me file the original patent back in 2001. Leah Morgan, his voice is warm with surprise. It's been years. How are you holding up over there at Medicore? David, I need to ask you a hypothetical question about patent licensing. Shoot. If I own a patent, and I've licensed it exclusively to a company for 20 years, but that company stops paying licensing fees and then tries to replace my technology with someone else's system, what are my options? There's a long pause. When David speaks again, his voice has shifted into lawyer mode. That's not hypothetical, is it, Leah? Not exactly. Okay. First question, do you have documentation proving they stopped paying licensing fees? I flip through my folder and find bank statements from 2018, the last year I received direct payments. Yes. Second question, are they still using your patented technology in their commercial products? I think about the cardiac monitoring systems installed in hospitals across 47 countries, processing millions of heartbeat readings every day. Definitely yes. Third question, are they planning to reverse engineer or recreate your technology for use by a third party? I think about Jessica's meeting, synaptic dynamics, and the plan to have me document my algorithms so someone else can rebuild them. That's exactly what they're planning. David's whistle is low and impressed. Leah, if what you're telling me is accurate, Medicore is in violation of your licensing agreement, and any attempt to recreate your technology would constitute patent infringement. You could demand immediate cessation of use, back payment of licensing fees, and potentially damages. And if I wanted to revoke the licensing agreement entirely? With cause? Which it sounds like you have. You could shut down their entire operation until they either pay up or stop using your technology. I lean back in my chair, staring at the patent paperwork spread across my desk. 23 years I've been the quiet engineer in the corner, letting other people take credit, letting the company profit from my work, never making waves. David, how quickly could you draft a cease and desist letter? For you? I could have it ready by end of business today. But Leah, are you sure about this? Taking on your own employer is, they don't want to employ me anymore anyway, I interrupt. They want to extract my knowledge and show me the door. In that case, David says, and I can hear the smile in his voice, let's give them something to think about. After I hang up, I sit quietly for a long time. Outside my window, the fog is starting to lift off the bay. For the first time in months, I can see all the way to the bridge. Jessica Chen thinks she's managing a simple modernization project. She thinks she's dealing with an outdated employee and outdated technology. She's about to learn the difference between old and obsolete. My technology isn't outdated. It's proven, and I'm not going anywhere. Friday passes in a strange hush. I work quietly at my desk, running routine maintenance on the cardiac monitoring system, watching the data flow from hospitals around the world. Each heartbeat processed, each anomaly detected, each life potentially saved by algorithms I wrote in this very chair. 23 years ago. At 4:30 p.m., my phone buzzes with an email from David Kim. The subject line is simple, package delivered. I open the attachment and there it is, a crisp, legal document addressed to Jessica Chen and the Medicore executive team. Notice of licensing agreement violation and demand for cessation of patent infringement. The language is formal, but the message is crystal clear. Medicore has been using my patented technology without proper licensing payments since 2018, and any attempt to reverse engineer or recreate the cardiac monitoring system constitutes patent infringement. They have 72 hours to respond before I exercise my right to revoke the licensing agreement entirely. David had it hand-delivered to Jessica's office at 4:15 p.m. I close my laptop, pack up my leather notebook, and head home to my small apartment in the Mission District. For the first time in weeks, I sleep soundly. Monday morning arrives with unusual clarity, no fog, crisp March air, and the kind of golden sunlight that makes San Francisco look like the postcards. I arrive at the office early, as always, but there's electricity in the air that wasn't there last week. By 8:30 a.m., my phone starts ringing. First call is from HR, requesting an urgent meeting. Second call is from the CTO, Dr. Harrison, whom I haven't spoken to in 3 years. Third call is from Jessica Chen herself. I don't answer any of them. At 9:15 a.m., Jessica appears at my desk. Her usual composure has developed some cracks. Hair slightly less perfect, blazer wrinkled like she's been running her hands through it. Leah, we need to talk. Now. I save my work, close my notebook, and follow her to the elevator. We ride to the 5th floor in silence. But instead of her office, she leads me to the large conference room, the same one where she'd presented her modernization plans just a week ago. Inside, I find Dr. Harrison, CTO, Marcus Webb, CFO, and 2 people I don't recognize in expensive suits who have corporate attorney written all over them. Please, sit, Jessica says, but her voice has lost its confident edge. I choose the chair directly across from the head of the table, fold my hands, and wait. Dr. Harrison clears his throat. Leah, we received some concerning legal correspondence on Friday. I think there may be some misunderstandings that we can clear up quickly. I remain quiet. Marcus Webb slides a folder across the table. We've pulled all the employment records, patent documentation, and licensing agreements from your original onboarding. It appears there have been some administrative oversights in recent years. Administrative oversights. I almost smile. The patent licensing fees, Marcus continues, were apparently consolidated into a general IP portfolio payment structure in 2018. The payments have been made, just not directly to your personal account as specified in the original agreement. This is interesting. Where have they been going? One of the attorneys speaks up. Into an escrow account managed by our legal department. Standard practice for managing multiple patent portfolios. And how much has accumulated in this escrow account over the past 6 years? Marcus consults his notes. $420,000, plus accrued interest. I nod. And you're prepared to transfer that to me immediately, along with a revised licensing agreement that ensures direct payment going forward? Absolutely, Dr. Harrison says quickly. That was always the intent. Just some bureaucratic mix-ups that we're committed to resolving. Jessica has been silent through this entire exchange, but now she leans forward. Leah, I want to apologize if my modernization proposal came across as dismissive of your contributions. That wasn't my intention at all. What I was hoping to discuss was a partnership opportunity, keeping you as the lead architect while we enhance the system with additional capabilities. Partnership opportunity. A week ago it was mentorship role and early retirement. And the Synaptic Dynamics contract? I ask. Jessica and Dr. Harrison exchange a glance. We've put that on hold pending further internal review, Dr. Harrison says. I see. I open my leather notebook and flip to a page covered with recent calculations. I've been thinking about enhancement opportunities myself. There are some improvements I could make to the core algorithm that would increase detection accuracy by approximately 31% while reducing false positives by 23%. The specific numbers land like small bombs in the quiet room. Jessica's face goes pale as she recognizes her own projections from last week's presentation. In fact, I continue, I've been working on these enhancements for the past few years in my spare time. I'd estimate the improved system could generate an additional $4 to $6 million in annual revenue, assuming we can negotiate appropriate licensing terms. Marcus Webb's pen stops moving. Additional licensing terms? Well, the original agreement covers the basic cardiac monitoring functionality. These new enhancements would be covered under a separate patent application I filed last month. Patent pending, of course, but it should be granted within the next 12 months. This is not entirely true. I filed a provisional application for some theoretical improvements, but I haven't developed them fully. However, the possibility is real, and the legal framework is already in place. The room falls silent. I can practically hear the mental calculations running through Marcus Webb's head. $420,000 in back payments, plus ongoing licensing fees, plus potential additional licensing for new enhancements, versus the cost of trying to rebuild the entire system from scratch while losing $12 million in annual revenue during the transition. Dr. Harrison breaks the silence. Leah, what would it take to move forward with a partnership approach? Enhanced role, enhanced compensation, enhanced everything? I close my notebook and lean back in my chair. For 23 years, I've been the invisible engineer, the reliable workhorse, the quiet woman in the corner who keeps the money-making machine running smoothly. Today, for the first time, I have their complete attention. First, immediate payment of all back licensing fees, plus penalty interest for the 6-year delay. Marcus nods, making notes. Second, a revised licensing agreement with automatic annual increases tied to system usage metrics. More notes. Third, a formal promotion to Chief Technology Officer for Cardiac Systems, with corresponding salary and equity compensation. Dr. Harrison's eyebrows go up, but he doesn't object. Fourth, a dedicated budget for R&D improvements to the cardiac monitoring platform, with any resulting patents held jointly between myself and Medicore. And fifth, I continue, looking directly at Jessica, a restructured innovation department that prioritizes proven technology enhancement over wholesale system replacement. Jessica's carefully constructed professional mask finally cracks completely. You're basically asking us to redesign the entire modernization strategy around your preferences. No, I reply calmly. I'm asking you to redesign the modernization strategy around what works. My system processes 2.3 million cardiac readings every day. It's installed in hospitals across 47 countries. It has a detection accuracy rate that exceeds anything currently available in the market. What I'm offering is the opportunity to make it even better, rather than throwing it away and starting over with inferior technology. The corporate attorneys whisper among themselves. Dr. Harrison and Marcus Webb conduct their own quiet sidebar. Jessica stares out the window at the bay, no doubt contemplating how dramatically her first month as Director of Innovation has veered from her original plans. Finally, Dr. Harrison speaks. Leah, your terms are comprehensive. We'll need some time to review the financial implications and structural changes. Of course. Take all the time you need. I stand and gather my things. But I should mention that the cease and desist notice expires Wednesday at 5 p.m. After that, the licensing agreement reverts to default terms, which include immediate cessation of use until all violations are resolved. I'm halfway to the door when Jessica's voice stops me. Leah? I turn back. How long have you been planning this? I consider the question. How do you explain that you weren't planning anything? That you were perfectly content to keep working quietly? In your corner, maintaining your systems, saving lives, and letting other people take credit? That it was only when someone decided you were obsolete that you bothered to remember your own worth? I wasn't planning anything, Jessica. I was just doing my job. But when someone tells you that your life's work is outdated, it tends to make you reconsider what that work is actually worth. Tuesday passes without any contact from the executive team. I spend the day running routine maintenance, reviewing system logs, and sketching out some genuine improvements to the cardiac monitoring algorithm in my leather notebook. If they're going to pay me to enhance the system, I might as well have some enhancements ready. Wednesday afternoon, at 3:47 p.m., Marcus Webb appears at my desk with a contract folder thick enough to use as a doorstop. "We accept your terms," he says simply. "All of them. When can you start in your new role?" I look around my corner workstation, the ancient desktop computer, the coffee-stained desk, the same fluorescent lights I've worked under for 23 years. "I think I'll need a new office," I say. 6 months later, I'm sitting in a corner office on the 7th floor, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the bay, reviewing the quarterly performance reports for the enhanced cardiac monitoring system. The improvements I implemented have exceeded even my own projections: 34% increase in detection accuracy, 28% reduction in false positives, and $6.2 million in additional annual revenue. My team of 12 engineers, brilliant minds who actually want to understand how the system works rather than just replace it, has developed 3 additional enhancement modules. Each one will be covered under new joint patents, ensuring that Medicore's most valuable technology remains both cutting-edge and legally protected. Jessica Chen left the company in July to pursue new opportunities in blockchain healthcare applications. Her modernization department was restructured under my oversight, focusing on genuine improvements to existing systems rather than wholesale replacement projects. The Synaptic Dynamics contract was terminated, though I heard through industry contacts that they've struggled to replicate our cardiac monitoring results with their AI-driven approach. Turns out that 23 years of iterative improvement, real-world testing, and human insight is difficult to compress into machine learning algorithms and PowerPoint presentations. As I pack up my new office for the day, I open my leather notebook, the same one I've carried for over 2 decades. On today's page, I write a simple note: Patent US 6.847, 392 renewal application filed. Extension granted through 2031. Some foundations are worth building on. Others are worth protecting. And sometimes, if you're very careful and very patient, you get to do both. The fog is rolling in off the bay as I leave the building, but from the 7th floor, I can still see the bridge clearly. Distance and elevation change everything about perspective. Tomorrow, we start development on the next generation of cardiac monitoring technology. Not replacing what works, but making it work better. And this time, everyone will know exactly who built the foundation they're standing on. Looking for more? We've got 2 amazing stories ready for you right on screen. If this one touched you, these are absolutely worth your time. Click to watch them now. And hey, subscribe and hit that bell to never miss our latest uploads.